Hello and welcome to the U-Shaped Business Show, where we feature self-employed business owners who run innovative, unique, and personal businesses. I'm your host, Patty Kay. Hello. And today I am super excited to welcome Jayne into the show. Jayne, tell us about what you do.
Hi, Patty. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. It's good to see you. Well, my business kind of is threefold. I am a professional celebrant, I'm an energy healer, and I'm also a ghost rescuer. So there's several pieces. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit, how do they all match? But I think that I can help everybody understand how it all matches in a little bit here. As a professional celebrant, of course, I perform wedding ceremonies, but I also do other kinds of ceremonies like solstice and equinox ceremonies and pet memorials, and I do baby blessings and naming ceremonies, which are always just a pleasure and a joy. So any happy celebration. So I love that word, being called a celebrant, because that's really how I feel about doing celebrations. And as an energy healer, I use a couple of different healing modalities when I'm working with a client. I use a modality called theta healing, so a theta healing or a theta brainwave state. And I also use Reiki. But during those sessions, I've been known to, do some psychic intuitive readings as well, some mediumship, so I'm able to connect with people's loved ones that have crossed over. And I can be a little bit of a medical intuitive from time to time as well. So all of those pieces go along with my healing practice, and I love it, of course. And as a ghost rescuer, which is what people always sort of look at me like, the ghost rescue part of my business is that I really do assist and help earthbound souls cross over and go into the light. It's very important to me as part of my values, to make sure that people can, their souls can cross over, because we don't get to grow spiritually unless our soul has gone to the other side. So I help people with homes, businesses, offices, do just, a thorough energy clearing from any negative energy pockets. And I also will help them to cross their ghosts over if that's something that they feel that they have, within their space. So these are the three sort of things that I really try and focus on in my
Right.
business.
So, this show, my life, is all about the U-shaped business, and I often think of you when I think about a U-shaped business, because you've managed to combine the many threads of what you do into one, Jayne Enterprises.
That's true. It's true. All of the work that I do and all the pieces all come together when you start thinking about metaphysics. And I am a metaphysician, I'm a metaphysical minister, and I'm a metaphysical doctor.
Mhm.
So all of those pieces fit together when you think about metaphysics. Metaphysics in a very simplistic way of explaining it is meta means bigger than,
Mhm.
and physics means, your five physical senses in your body. So metaphysics is something that's bigger than than the five senses. And I really do experience my world in much bigger than just the five senses that I have. And as a philosophy in life, which is what metaphysics is really, it's a philosophy to live by. What I strive to do is to bring joy into people's lives.
Mm.
I do that in all the three areas of the business that I perform.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
And it brings joy to me as well. I mean, can you imagine the excitement of somebody who is, a couple who is finally pronounced as legally married? I mean, that just never gets old. It's such a joyous occasion, and weddings are so wonderful to do because they're happy occasions. So everybody's happy, and there's tears, but they're tears of joy, and taking it on to the healing practice. Well, when people finally, sort of can identify and can resonate with something spiritual that's happening, that's causing their body, to malfunction in some way. That's probably not the best word to use, but when they can come back to me the next week and say, "Holy smoke, I can't believe how well I feel." I mean, that's just joyful, joyful, joyful. And as far as, house clearing and doing people's offices and businesses, they just say to me all the time, "Jayne, I can't believe it. It feels so much better in here. We are so much more productive. My home is a happy place. I'm not scared there anymore." So all of that, is bringing joy into people's lives. And that's kind of what I strive to do. And
Right.
into my own life as well. So, I mean, there's just nothing better for me.
What a great way to be in business, just to be the person who is bringing joy and experiencing joy, and definitely um, uh, it sounds to me anyhow like that's what lights you up about your business. Is that it, or is there something else to it that drives you?
Oh no, I think that's probably it. I don't know that there's anything better in this world than to be in service to others and like I said, just to bring that joy back and that peace back into people's lives.
Right.
Yeah, gotta be, it's gotta be my main motivator for sure.
Oh, nice.
Keeps me going.
So, being a U-shaped business,
A very
besides
state business, yeah.
besides just bringing together the three different aspects of your work, what do you do in your business that's unique or different from what some of the other people in your in a similar business do?
Well, a really good example would be the wedding practice that I do. Um, when I sign up a couple, to work with me, then sometimes we get signed up a year ahead of time, sometimes 18 months ahead of schedule. So I really concentrate on giving excellent customer service. What that means to me is that I'm in constant contact with them. I mean, at least if it's 18 months away, that's a long time away. So, I mean, I don't want to bug people either, but I certainly, am in touch once a month, once every 6 weeks. Hey, how's it going? How are your plans coming along? Is there anything I can do for you? Any of those things are just things that I just like to keep in touch with people. So I usually tell them, that once they become my client and notice that I'm taking personal responsibility for these people. Once they become my clients, then they are my clients, and I want to know how their lives are going and what's happening. And anytime along the way, if they run into trouble or they get stressed or things, oops, the plan has to change through no fault of their own or mine. I'm there, and we can do a phone call. We can get together. I had a couple that I worked with in the summertime, and we were together 3 or 4 times,
Mhm.
uh, just talking things over, doing a few things. One of the things that we did together, which I thought was really awesome, was we tied up their hand fasting rope together.
Mm.
So included in some of my wedding ceremonies, I do things like traditional hand fasting ceremonies that go along with it. I call them a ceremony within a ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular couple had his tartan from Scotland flown in,
Mm.
here so that we could make their hand fasting rope out of his family tartan.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, it was lovely. And so when we got together, I literally showed them how to make it, but I stood back and let them make their own hand fasting rope, and they were just thrilled about it. So the other thing that I do, of course, is, I do lots of crafts. I do lots and lots of crafting on behalf of my clients. That is always fun for me because as I'm sitting, making up the craft or doing craft, it gives me a silent opportunity to really think about them and who they are and to put in some just, really positive energy into those crafts. So hand fasting ropes I've told you about already. Certainly I have decorated, I don't even know, maybe 1,000 jars now. I don't even know. I haven't counted anymore. For a sand ceremony, sand ceremonies are lovely when you're trying to incorporate your children into the marriage as well, or other, significant people, into the marriage, which is great. What else did I do? Oh, one of my couples jumped a broom this summer. Actually, two of my couples jumped a broom. One woman made her own broom, and it was just absolutely stunning, just stunning. So I'm really hoping I can get a picture of the broom. And I decorated a broom myself for my other couple. So it's that's kind of fun too, to jump the broom. It's the premise, of course, is to go from your old life and jump into the new life as a married couple. So jumping the broom can always be fun. One of my couples this summer had great summer. One of my couples this summer wanted to have a sage smudge before the ceremony started. So when everybody gathered and they were all up at the front ceremonial area, then I stopped and I did a sage smudge for them. So, there's all kinds of creative, wonderful things that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And just thinking about it, there's a picture of the hand fasting rope made of the tartan. And there's also a picture of the broom on my Our Own Celebration Facebook page. So if anybody wants to have a look at them, then that's where they can go to see them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'll provide the links underneath or beside the video, wherever they go. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks, Patty. That would be helpful. Yeah, and I was going to say, the summer has been just crazy busy for me, and so I haven't actually had a chance to put them on my website yet. So if anybody was looking, they certainly can go to the Facebook page and have a look. Yeah, so lots of fun things, lots and lots of good crafting and good things. I'm the only person I know who does that. Some of the house blessings that I've done, I usually take, this is a funny story, but I usually take a little bag full of stuff with me. And I said to one of my clients, I said, well, I've got a bag full of stuff. And she said to me, well, don't you always have a bag full of stuff, Jayne? Well, yeah, I like leaving. Yeah, so, I'm the one that will go out and source those things out. I will make sure that they have all the materials that they need in order to do the ceremony of their choice. I do that as a customer service, piece for my couples, because I want their wedding ceremony or their celebration days to be as stress-free and as wonderful as it can be for somebody that, sort of I don't know, spent a lot of time having to plan. Let's put it that way. Yeah, my baby blessing ceremonies are always fun too. If I create a beautiful certificate for the baby, I do that on my computer, and so each one is completely different. And I usually dress up some candles and, make a a large candle and put it under a, sort of a storm candle so that it won't blow out while we're outside. Usually those ceremonies are done outdoors. So, there's lots of things that, that can be done, and lots of creativity. So none of it is going to, none of the creative juices are going to ever go to waste. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's your business sounds very personal and personalized, and bringing a lot of you into it. But I'm also hearing a lot of honoring of your clients, making it about them, making it fit them, and creating that experience of a lifetime for them.
Yeah, and that's really kind of where I want to go. I want people to remember that they had a beautiful ceremony, and that, for years to come, for people to say, oh, remember the wedding.
Yeah.
And, and that's kind of, where I try and create things that are beautiful for them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm just trying to think about, of course, the house clearings and ghost rescue, customer service again, often a lot of training and teaching needs to go on to help my clients get over their fear. And because people, when they finally phone me, I should say, they're pretty scared. And often people wait too long. They'll wait for 5 years and say, yeah, this has been going on for 5 years. And I said, for heaven's sakes, why didn't you call me? We could have just had you feeling so much better, even 4 years ago. But, there's still a stigma around these things. And people don't really want to talk about it openly. So I'm always very careful about when I talk to them. And I do an awful lot of validating for my clients. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I'm going crazy. And you're not crazy. This is real. Yeah, for sure. So those are the things that I do that make it, mine. I'm also a very integrative person. So what I say I'm going to do, I do. And, that's one of my values. I see my little familiar is going to come here.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, we're in an interview. Do you want to say something? I know you're such a good girl. It's the hazards of working from home, Patty.
Yeah, my little dog was in here a couple of minutes before I fired up the computer. He was like a little pause on me. He's like, pay attention to me. Like, I'm sorry,
Did
honey.
you lock him
I'm
out?
doing an interview.
I know, I love it. Did you lock him out?
I did, yeah.
Aww.
Aw, yeah.
I can't do that with my little kitties. So, yeah, we may have a visitor of another one as well. There's 3 in this house.
They're the best coworkers, aren't they?
They are, and they're very motivating, Yeah, especially when they're all curled up and sleeping. I think, geez, I'd like to do that too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, so let's talk about business for a minute here. So you've been in business for a few years now. So I'm wondering if you would share with our audience here any tips that you've learned along the way. If you could, jump into a time machine and go back to you when you started out, what kind of advice would you give yourself? What's the big learning that you could pass on?
Oh boy. Probably one of the biggest things that I can say to people or to myself even is don't lose sight of your business. No matter what you're doing and no matter, what extracurricular things that you do, if you're sitting on a committee or you're, you've got kids or, whatever your other things are that you do in your life, don't lose track of your business.
Mm.
Do something for your business every single day.
Mm.
Make sure you do something for your business every single day. And just try and keep on top of it as best you can. The other thing I can say is get some systems in place.
Mm.
Without your systems in place, you tend to get lost. Clients can go by the wayside. That way you leave money on the table. Right. So the other thing is that I think it's important, and it's been really important for me to set some really clear boundaries.
Mm.
If I say to somebody, um, I can come to your house to do a clearing on Wednesday afternoon, and this is the time. Instead of just being free and open and saying, yeah, whenever it's okay for you, my time is valuable too, and I tend to get lost in that time as well. So
Mm.
here comes my girl again. Oh, sorry, Patty. Here we go. Oh no, you go down there. Sorry, Patty.
Lots of
Just
boundary setting practice there.
boundary setting practices, yeah. Setting boundaries, I think, is a really important thing to do. Just because I love what I do, and I don't ever want to get burnt out. So
Right.
if I set my boundaries and I say to people, no, this isn't going to work for me, this is going to work for me. We've got to be able to come to a good compromise one way or the other.
Right.
The other thing that I always insist on doing is talking to people on the phone first.
Mm.
Always, always, always talk to people on the phone. It's just a practice that I do all the time. It gives me so much information, and it helps me to get clear about where the client wants to be. Then with the brides and the couples that I marry, because I certainly, I'm also involved in the LGBTQ community as far as weddings go. For any couples, I insist on meeting them. It's very, very difficult walking into, let's say, a rehearsal,
Mm.
not even knowing who the couple are. So
Right.
it's, yeah. So that's something that I would always recommend that people do. Talk to your clients on the phone. You can meet them in person. It's going to really help you.
Yeah, it helps to build up that relationship with them as well.
It does, yeah. Yeah, definitely does. And the know, like, and trust, and that sort of stuff that you really need to have when you're working that intimately with people.
Yeah, very much.
And my business, all three of the layers of my business need to be somewhat intimate. People need to be able to trust me,
Mm-hmm.
and otherwise we don't get very far. So and trusting somebody with their wedding day is huge. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's true for most people who provide professional services of some sort. There has to be a level of trust there. Like, I can't imagine anybody wanting to do business with someone they did not trust. It's crucial.
Well, and it's I've heard stories too. Of course, because I'm in the industry, so I've heard stories, and I hear that couples are approached from their officiant or their
Mm.
celebrant 2 weeks before their wedding day, no matter when they gave them a deposit.
Mm.
And that's just not enough time.
Yeah.
If you have the time, get in touch, be in touch, stay in touch. The other thing I hear a lot is that people advertise that they do customized wedding ceremonies. And I've seen some of the ceremonies, and I realize that that's just not true.
Mm.
I do customized ceremonies, but other people go on the internet and they pick and choose, and they put little pieces of this together and pieces of that together. Even if I find something on the internet that I like, I rework it and put it into my own words. So my custom ceremonies, I believe, are truly customized.
Yeah. Well, that seemed to come across really clearly to me in this whole interview. That's really you spend so much time and energy and focus. Like I get this idea of loving intention in terms of your clients that goes beyond customization. And I'm thinking too that maybe that is just related to that metaphysical idea as well, in the kind of spirit, soul, essence that you bring to your work with your clients.
It's a lovely way to put it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Jayne. Thank you for being here and being part of this interview.
Well, I just feel very honored that you even asked me, and it's just been my pleasure to be and sit with you for a little bit. It's lovely to see you.
Well, it's lovely to see you too, Jayne. And if people want to see more of you, what is the best way to do that?
Well, I have two websites. So one of the websites, of course, is www.ourowncelebration.com. And my other website is www.ghostrescuer.com. I'm also on Facebook under both of those names. And the best and easiest way to reach me, the best way for me to communicate with clients is through email. So on my website, I have contact forms that they can just plug their name in and their phone number and zip it off to me. Also, my email addresses are on there. So then they're both fairly simple. It's Jayne at ourowncelebration.com and Jayne at ghostrescuer.com. So
awesome.
they're pretty simple to be able to remember and distinguish. So, yeah.
Great.
So that's how you can reach me.
All right, and I'll include those links underneath, beside. I don't know how this is going to show up, but the links will be somewhere around this video for you to click.
Excellent.
So thank you very much, Jayne, and thank you for watching and tuning in. And if you enjoyed this interview, you can visit my website at pattykay.com for more. And have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.